Apparently I'm live. Sorry for making everybody wait if you were waiting. My name is Rich Ryerson. I'm the head coach of the UNLV men's soccer team. I'd like to welcome you to the UNLV Rebels Coaching Corner. And we're live in a corner of my home, so this works out pretty well. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm looking forward to talking to our Rebel fans about things that are coming up, things that are going on today, and things in the past about UNLV men's soccer. I appreciate your time. Before we start, I do want to say hello. I think my mom and dad might be watching in Maryland, so I want to say hello to them. I don't know how many people are here. I can't see anybody, so I don't know if I make anyone laugh or not. But this should be a good platform for me to learn. So thank you so much for being here today. The other thing I do want to say also is, on behalf of the UNLV men's soccer team, we want to wish you and your families, your loved ones, all the health during this period, health in your physical health, health in your emotional state, and then also the financial health for your family. So with that being said, I think what we want to try and do is jump to some questions. You have the ability to, give questions in the live chat. I don't know how this works, but let's give it a go. And again, so thank you so much. UNLV, let's see here. From Twitter, what's the latest on college soccer going to the two-semester model? With everything that's going on right now, there was some talk about the soccer programs actually going through 2 semesters. So you play half the year in the fall and half the year in the spring. We do something similar now, but we play our championship segment is actually the fall segment. The national championships are in December in the fall. And then in the spring, we just have a non-championship segment. So what they were trying to do for player safety, just having one game per week, similar to what the rest of the world does. The NCAA was being approached by the Soccer Coaches Association to try and move it into just a year-round model. So right now, because of everything going on, that's been tabled. So there is no voting for that. It was going to be voted on this year, but unfortunately, we're going to have to wait. But again, there's more pressing things that we have to worry about right now. So that's the state of the 2-semester model going forward. We'll see. I've got another question from Jack. And we know Jack. Jack's behind the goal. Good to see you, Jack, on this question. I appreciate you. Your support's been incredible for as long as I've been the head coach. So thank you so much for bringing your family out, and the boys especially. How did the German pipeline start? So we've had some great success with German players, and we've had great success also with the Hawaiian pipeline too. So we've got 2 pipelines. One's in Europe, and the other one's actually in Hawaii. But Jack, basically what we've done. There was Borussia Mönchengladbach, which was a professional team in the German Bundesliga. And about 2008, they brought a group of 16-year-olds to play in the downtown Las Vegas Mayor's Cup. And we saw some of the players at that time. I wasn't the head coach, but I was working with downtown. And we were able to host the players from Germany. And we just saw, again, just a great group of youth players. And so I think it was maybe Timo Melish was our first player that we got. We didn't get him until, I would say, about 2000 and maybe it was 16. But basically, just from the connections that we made there and the friends and the relationships that we made there, that's kind of how that whole process started. This fall, we're planning on having 4 German players. We've just signed 2 new players. Extremely excited about it all. Timo was drafted into the MLS, and so Seattle was drafted Timo in the MLS. And then also we've got Nico Clausen, who's a German national youth team player, and we've got some exciting players coming up. So it's been very good for our program so far, and that's where it started. And forgive me for rambling, because I'm going to do that this whole time, I think. So from Adam, who was your favorite player that you've ever coached? And now you got to realize Adam was on my team. So Adam, besides you, or did you want me to think of some other players? Adam, you were one of the great players that we've had, Adam Musovski. Also, obviously, your brother. We've been very fortunate In my time of playing for UNLV, there were 4 brothers that went through the program. I know there's been other ones, but since I've been coaching, we also had the Partita brothers and the Musovsky brothers. So this is a family affair for sure, UNLV. My favorite player to coach, I'm not going to answer that question. I love all you guys. You mean the world to me. You can believe that I do like you a lot, Adam, but I'm not ready to say who my favorite player of all time was. That's a good question, though. All right. Let's see, Roger. When will the schedules be posted? So, right now, obviously, in the moment that we're in, there's already been a couple changes to the schedule that we had completed back in February. So right now, we're kind of holding off to get everything posted until a couple more details come out. There's been some changes in the California school policy. How is that going to affect then by potentially doing everything online, the athletes? So there's a lot of questions right now we still have to answer. But as soon as we have that finalized, you are guaranteed to be one of the first guys to get a copy of that. And then within that, too, there was part 2 of Roger's question. When is the alumni game? That's up in the air right now, too. So I'll be calling you, Roger, to help me organize that this year. But thank you for those questions. Danny Musovsky, who was the last player to score in the NCAA tournament? I'm thinking it probably was you, Danny. I'm not sure. I think again, that's I don't pay too much attention to those stats. The only one I remember is that I had 20 goals and 20 assists. How am I supposed to think of anything else, Danny? That's your job. So type it in for me so I have the answer, please, because I got a feeling it's you. But good question, Danny. Thank you for asking. Jenny Ruiz, our new women's coach for the UNLV team, Jenny Ruiz Williams. It's great to have Jenny on our staff. She's incredible. She's an alumni of our program, and she's had Mexican national team experience. She's played in the women's professional league, and she's just a great person to have on our staff and to be a part. Such energy. I'm so excited to have you as a part of the UNLV program and family as on the coaching staff. Can I share my favorite UNLV memory? There's been a lot. I mean, as a player, I had some different ones, but I can't remember back that far. So we'll go with 2014 when we were playing in Seattle against Bakersfield in the final, the WAC final for the tournament. We had a great season. I think we won 14 games that year. And in penalty kicks, Ryan, our goalkeeper, actually made a diving save to win the game for us, actually prevent a goal from Bakersfield. And I think just that moment of going from 2010, where we weren't sure if we were going to have a program, to 2014, where we took a lot of knocks on the way to get to 2014. But just that moment where we had the championship, we were going to go back to the NCAA, which I think was the first time in about 27, 30 years, somewhere in there. That moment was great. I remember just actually the guys running onto the field and me just turning around, and our team trainer, Bernie Chaves, was standing right there. I think we just hugged each other for a while. And that moment was just a lot of hard work, a lot of effort, blood, sweat, and tears. It was just the culmination of all those things. And I think to win a championship in that moment was very, very special. Thank you, Jenny, for jumping on board. Megan, how have you seen the soccer community evolve in Las Vegas since your time as a former student athlete and coach for the Rebels? When I was here playing, there was the east side and the west side, and you chose one of the two teams or one of the two sides of town. So you either played on the east side or the west side. And it was very competitive at that time. We had a lot of great players that have gone through the UNLV program over the years, many professional players that have come out of Las Vegas. My first probably 9 years, I would say, we've had at least half of our team as local players, a lot of first-generation guys. So I think that what's happened is, as the city's grown, I think just the number of players, the volume of players has grown as well. I think we have over 10,000 registered players in some of our leagues with the Nevada State Association. And then there's other leagues that have youth players also, that might not be counted in that. So I think the volume of players has led to just more opportunities for kids to come out of Las Vegas and play. We don't get all the guys to stay in Las Vegas. We can't do that as much as we'd love to, but we've had players that have left and have done extremely well. Matt Polster, you've got Tristan Blackman. I mean, there's just a lot of players that have come out, and whether they've gone to UNLV or not, they've done extremely well. So much more organized. Fields are much better than when we played back when I was an athlete, but the talent pool has really, really grown. Let's see. Have we thought about rescheduling the summer ID camp? We would love to, but right now we're really taking it slow. We don't want to risk anything. For our ID camp, it's usually residential. So from that standpoint, we want to make sure that we're safety is first for the for the players that are visiting the campus. And as soon as we can get you guys back on campus to have the ID camps, we can't wait. We're looking forward to seeing the talent on campus again. It gives us a chance to work with the kids outside of our program. And as soon as possible, Jacob, we'll let you know when you can get back in. And the answer was from Danny, by the way, was Adam Musovsky against San Diego State University. So I guess we're not counting the penalty kicks. But Adam, you're my favorite player now. Danny, thank you for that information. Okay, from Twitter, Jack, how much do fans contribute to the game atmosphere for the players? Speaking as a former player, you get so much energy from the fan experience. Right now, we've been very fortunate to have the UNLV Soccer Foundation do tailgates for both the men's and the women's programs. And we create such a great atmosphere. The barbecue coming across into the field is different. But to have those fans behind the goal cheering us on, it's really, it pumps the guys up. At the end of the day, there's a lot of egos out there on the field, and they're all working towards the same goal. But I think they'd rather see the fan experience stay. So big contribution. Let's see. Can we talk about the international recruiting and the areas that we look at? So again, for us, we've been very fortunate with Germany, but this fall we have kind of a unique group of guys coming. We have 4 Germans. We have 2 junior college transfers, one from England, one from Australia. We also currently have the 2 Germans on our team, and we have 1 international from New Zealand. So Billy Jones, who was a member of the qualifying teams for the New Zealand Olympic team. So we've got a heavy influence this year of internationals. But I think most of the time, if we do travel, it's to Northern Europe, and really that's kind of where we get the players, and then word of mouth and friends of a friend, and that's kind of how it's worked for us as well. We're a great opportunity for players to continue to play and get their education, whereas in Europe they might not have that chance to combine the educational piece and also the playing piece. So thank you, Chris, for that question. How do I rate the new recruiting class? Well, I rate them huge. This is a different time for UNLV soccer right now. I think the recruiting class that we've had this year, we've got 7 new players coming in. We've got 2 high school players and 2 internationals that are coming at the same age, 18, 19 years old. But we've got a lot of guys that are coming in that have experience. So we've got a lot of sophomores going into their junior year. We've got all region players in the junior college, all American players in the junior college playing. Just some real big, strong guys. I think our back line is going to look bigger than it's ever looked. A lot of times I'll be looking out at the national anthem and I'll see UNLV and then maybe the referees and then the other team as I'm looking down the line. So it's going to be fun for us, I think, to see a different style of play that we're planning on trying to incorporate. And I think we're going to be more athletic than we have in the past, and just our sheer size is going to be much better, or not better, but much bigger. I think we want to be able to manage restarts and free kicks against us. I think it's going to be a great class. I'm excited about it. Let's see here. How have we kept the team engaged while apart and abroad? It's actually been very intimate and very close. And again, this question is from Megan. Megan, we've been able to actually use platforms we would have never used before with Zoom, FaceTiming, WebEx. I think I've done some Google Meeting kind of thing as well. So that and the WhatsApp calls. So for us right now, we've probably had so many more touches than we would normally had at this time. We would get the guys for a 2-hour training session and then they go on their way. And that would be the kind of the communication we'd have with them. I think at this point, we've been every morning we wake them up at 8 o'clock to make sure they're a part of the Zoom call. We kind of give them different activities to do, kind of really keep them engaged in what's going on wherever they are. We've sent them out bands for flexibility and strength training. They've got an app that's been provided by UNLV for these guys to do a workout called Train Heroic, and that's been fantastic. And then just activities that we can create with these guys to try and keep them engaged. It's been a special time. I'm surprised. I think like I say, it's been more intimate than I thought it could have been. And so it's actually going to help create another avenue for us to communicate with these guys over the summer. Okay. Let's see here. What is the outlook for next season? I just got off of a phone call with the Western Athletic Conference coaches. We're optimistic. We want to be realistic too about what's going on. But I think I'm going to be positive. I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to make sure. And our new football coach, Marcus Arroyo, I think he had a quote that I just loved. It's, are we going to be ready if the ball was dropped tomorrow? And that's really the mindset that our guys have right now. We've got to be ready for whatever happens. So if the ball is dropped tomorrow, they'll be ready. If it's dropped in August, we'll be ready. If for some reason it's delayed a little bit in September, we'll be ready. But whatever the case is, we're optimistic and we'll be ready. Let's see. What was my best UNLV memory as a player? Oof. I had a lot of great memories on and off the field. I mean, the experience as a player at UNLV was fantastic. The time we were here, the university was smaller, the city was smaller, but the talent was great. We had a lot of success the 3 years that I played. Of 4, we made it to the NCAA tournament. So getting to the tournament's always exciting. Scoring goals is exciting. Good hard tackles. I think probably if I had to say one of the best memories, I think might have just been early in my career, maybe freshman year or something like that. We were playing at San Francisco. At that time, they were the perennial champions, just a powerhouse. And I remember scoring a goal on a header. It was a pretty special moment for me there. But yeah, I don't know. A lot of great memories. Hard to say just one. Some of them, like I say, are life-defining and things that we went through as teams all do in terms of bonding and creating memories. We were very, very fortunate. And I'd have to say I was fortunate to be here at the time I was. And I got a second go-around now as a coach. So hard to name just one. Okay, do I look for quick and nimble, or do I go for bigger guys that take up space? And this is from Sean. That's a great question. We do both. I mean, if I think about our style of play and how we identify ourselves, we want to attack from the width. So in that case, I want some nimble guys that can really go after other players bravely, be 1v1, go after them. In the back, we have to be big because the college game is very direct. I think that it takes guys that can win air duels to really help prevent scoring chances against us. And then up front, we just need guys that are, either way, guys that are going to get after it, and, as a forward and score goals. That's their job. And then I would say in the midfield, we've got guys right in the center of the field that they're all different sizes. So it's 11 guys. It takes 11 different personalities. It takes 11 different body shapes. So I think not one or the other. I think we've been very fortunate with some of the smaller guys. We had a player, Sal Bernal, that was drafted to Toronto. Everybody would be on the edge of their seats when he got the ball. And then we've had bigger players that have contributed as well. So I think tough to say just one. I think it's a good blend of everybody. All right. Let's see. What does it mean for me to be the head coach at my alma mater? Well, There's nothing better than walking across the field right before a game, seeing the sunset in the background, the Las Vegas lights. There's nowhere in the world that has the view of a field that we currently have. And so from that, there's a lot of pride. Like I say, in 1983, we built the field. We laid the sod. That was our preseason to actually Peter Johann Field was built. And it was built by the players and by the coach at that time, who was Barry Bartow. Under his leadership, we got the field done. We got the lights put in. We were ready to play in that first year after laying the sod. So for me, having also 3 brothers that played at UNLV, my brother Rob, Ken, and Tim all played at UNLV. So there's family lineage here, I think, and it's exciting. There's nothing better for me. I don't know. There's not another school I'd want to coach at. This is, if I'm going to coach college soccer, this is where I want to be. Let's see. What advice, this is from Vivi. What advice do you have for a high school senior that wants to play college soccer? At this point in the process, in a senior year, a lot of the allocation of roster spots and the allocation of financial aid and scholarship and things like that have been taken up for the 2020 year. And I would say that's probably pretty common across Division I soccer, that at this point, most of the resources are gone. So I think it would be, maybe looking at some opportunities to play in a junior college, maybe taking what's called a gap year and waiting 1 year and try and get exposure at the youth level, or try and get out there and do a little bit more at tournaments and things like that. Make a video, different things like that, I think, are the best way right now for you to get recognized. You can always email. We do get inundated with emails, but you can always email, and we try and get back to everybody that we can. My staff and I are trying to be diligent in that aspect too, so that we don't let anybody slip through the cracks. And it's going to happen, but I think right now is exposure as soon as the soccer world opens up again. And from Twitter, what can a rising high school senior do this summer to try and get notice for scholarship in 2021 if there are no games or tournaments? I think I've got to believe that this is going to turn a corner. And if you're a 2021 graduate, I believe there's time. So, again, I'm optimistically and hopefully and excitedly ready for this to turn that corner. So I don't think it's too late for you. We've identified players as late as January this year in the process. So I think there's time. So I think you just have to be patient, go for the runs right now, do the things that you can do by yourself, adhere to these social, distancing kind of rules and regulations. Don't get back too early. Make sure that your core is strong. What we look for is speed and technique. So I would just say right now, you got to do the best you can flying solo until everything comes back. Okay. From Roger, what is your favorite memory as a wedding officiant? I think it was when I said, you may kiss the bride, Roger. I think that was probably the best part, because then it was over. But that was, for those of you that probably don't know, but I was fortunate and blessed to be asked by my associate head coach to be the officiant for his wedding this last January. And in doing that, I was a nervous wreck, but it worked out. And like I say, I was satisfied when it was done, although I might have called Kaylee Cammy for a second. Maybe that's the best memory. I don't know. Let's see. The Twitter, what's the toughest road trip or field to play at in the WAC? My favorite place to go, and I don't know if any WAC people are on here, but I love Seattle. Seattle is a great rivalry with us. The field is an amazing field, very similar to Peter Johann. It's in the heart of a city, of the city of Seattle too, on campus. It might not be the hardest place to play, but I think it's a very good place for us to play. Utah Valley on a Friday night, when they get their green men out there and they've got the drum crew and they got all those people going, that's an exciting atmosphere that they create. Very difficult on a Sunday at 1 p.m. to play down at UTRGV. Hot, humid. The grass is a little thick, so it's a little slow. And usually it's on the tail end of a trip. I would say that's probably the hardest place to play is UTRGV on a Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock. All right, from David Wedley. Coach, what opportunities have you and UNLV Soccer been able to provide your student athletes off the pitch? Well, I think, we're in a great city for an alumni base that's huge. So I'm reading this question maybe as a transitional moment. We've got Enrique Adame, who's graduating actually this week, Friday at 2 p.m. virtually. He's a local player, goalkeeper for us. He's getting his master's degree in accounting. And I think that he's been able to get the exposure he needs from soccer and from the educational piece to land a great job. So hopefully what we're doing is introducing our players to, just a great alumni base that they're here to help once the eligibility is exhausted and the education is finished. I think we have just a fantastic network in the city for people that do want to stay and work and live in Las Vegas. Hopefully that answers what you were asking, Dave. Are there any new developments on the new UNLV soccer stadium we have seen renderings of? That's a great question. I think, again, that's maybe just on a little bit of a hold right now while we're trying to get through just kind of where we are as an institution. But yeah, that's a dream of mine. In 2016, I think when the foundation was formed, it was, we all have high aspirations of making that happen. So we're hopeful, very hopeful. Has it been an advantage to have the Las Vegas Lights from the USL here? Absolutely. I've been fortunate that Brett Lashbrook has been very helpful with our program. Eric Ronaldo is a friend of mine as well, the coach of the team currently. We've been able to play some exhibition games against the Lights. Those have been really eye-opening for our players. And then we've had a few players that have gone from UNLV into the USL. So I think it's just awareness of soccer. It's raising the numbers of soccer in our community. And I truly believe it's great. That's the top of the food pyramid here in Las Vegas for soccer. And so hopefully we'll see them back on their feet as soon as possible as well. All right. So that's those are the questions that we have right now, unless you've got something more. Again, it's a privilege to do this. I hope you're well wherever you are right now. To be at my school and get my undergraduate and my graduate degree from UNLV has been just magical for me as well. So from that standpoint, I've got one more question. Talk of delaying the season. As of right now, there's too many unknowns, Roger, to know exactly what's going to happen. UNLV has said right now that they're going to have classes on campus for the third semester of summer school and into the fall. So we're hoping that we open up, and I think that the more schools that do open up, the better chances we are for the season moving forward without a glitch. So again, too early to say, but I think those decisions are made way above me. So I'll just do what I'm told on that side. All right, you guys. Well, listen, stay safe. We do have these masks. We'll be looking for having some of those out to the public with some UNLV swag. Thank you for listening. And I really appreciate the time that you put in to spend a half an hour with me out here on YouTube. So thank you and take care. Go Rebels, by the way.